Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Take two, ladies and gentlemen. Testing. Bueller. Folks, God bless America. Are we live? It looks like we're live. It looks like I might be lagging a little bit. But nevertheless, I am your host, Ethan Dubofsky, doing this for the second time because the first time didn't work. That over there is Monsieur Ryan Dubofsky. We are your hosts for Cinema Conversations, the 5th edition. Holy crap, we made it to 5. Cue the intro. Alright, let's try this again. Ryan, what has changed since the last time we tried this? Anything new in your life?
I had a child.
Holy crap, congratulations, Ryan. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Mazel tov. How old? I mean...
He's 5 now.
Damn, they grow up so fast. They grow up so fast. Ryan, look, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I actually retired.
Thank you.
2 months back. Yeah, since our last stream.
From Zaxby's?
From Zaxby's. You remembered, yeah. There was no like retirement fund, pension, or anything like that. They just cut me loose. Didn't even give me like chicken. You would have thought, at least.
Damn.
Let's get the chat pouring in, guys. Come on, please, because I love you guys and I want some interaction. My mother was there. She says, "What?" I don't know what she is saying that in response to. Maybe Ryan, your
probably
child.
About my child.
Yeah, I don't think she knows. Yeah. I think you kind of just drop that one on everybody. Folks.
His name is Yermi.
Yermi. All right. Well, I'd love to meet Yermi someday. That'd be awesome. Maybe you can bring him on the show for a surprise visit or something like that.
Maybe.
Let us talk. We got quite the show for you guys. I said last time, before I was so rudely interrupted by technical difficulties, that we have quite the show this week. Hopefully not 2 hours, unless you guys like that. In which case, let me know if you like those longer form live streams. Ryan, 4 films to talk about this week. A whopping 4 films. Let's start it off with The Banshees of Inisherin. Very, very hyped film. You told us last time you have not seen this. That's correct?
Well, actually, since the last live, I went to the theater and watched it really quick.
Wow.
With Yermi.
That's very impressive. That's incredible. And your thoughts on that?
It was alright.
It was alright, he says. A man who has not seen the film.
Alright.
Where's Sam and Elon? They're not in the chat. They were here like 5 minutes ago. These ingrates. They leave when at our lowest moment. Let's start with The Banshees of Inisherin. Again, stuff I was saying before, the technical difficulties. I had some mixed thoughts throughout most of the film. I was describing that it was a lot like Martin McDonagh's other films. In case you're not familiar with Martin McDonagh, he has directed, Ryan informed me, I think last live, quite a few films, a lot of short films especially, but the main ones that I'm aware of are In Bruges, which is another Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson film, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And I think he is very good at the dark premise, as well as the comedy. I think it's an Irish thing, to be honest. By the time it ended, I was not, it's not a film you enjoy. It's just very depressing and heavy. I would say it weighs very heavily on you. And most of the film I was thinking, this is good, not great. I'm not loving it, but I am certainly enjoying it. And then, it reaches a certain point where it's just like, how I felt just so moved by the tale that it was hard not to appreciate it. So I gave it, again, I haven't had a ton of time to process it. I only saw it earlier today at around noon. So still time to think about it. I am going to have a review for those of you interested, but a lot to process, a lot to say about it. For the most part, positive stuff to say. I enjoyed the film. Really liked what it was going for. But certainly some complaints as well, specifically pacing-wise, I think would be the main thing. But overall, it didn't live up to the hype necessarily, because I did have high expectations of it, because I think everybody was, touting this as one of the year's best. which it still cracked my top 10 tentatively. So certainly not far from that, but it didn't let me down like All Quiet on the Western Front or something like that, I'll say. But yeah, certainly flaws within the film. But Ryan, you're excited for this one?
I
Oh,
is
cutting out a little bit. This is fun. And you're gone. Oh, you're back. Ryan, you there?
you hear me?
Yeah.
You didn't hear what I said?
No, you cut out.
I said I'm very excited. I love Martin McDonagh's previous films, and this one looks great. I love Colin Farrell.
Oh,
I was going to watch it. I was with friends, and we were picking what movie to watch. I showed them the trailer. They thought it looked very boring. Then I showed them the trailer for Triangle of Sadness, which was their other option to watch, and they picked that. So.
You've seen Triangle of Sadness?
Yep.
Okay.
Just yesterday.
We can talk about that a little bit later on, even though we covered it last week. Well, anyway, if you like Colin Farrell, then that's good because he turns in a phenomenal performance in this film, expectedly. He is very, very good. I really liked his performance. But of course you knew that because he is Colin Farrell. He's damn good at what he does. So I have nothing else to say about the Banshees of Inisherin in this live. Again, I will do a review where I further flesh out my thoughts. Ryan hasn't seen it yet, so not much to conversate about there. But he does plan to watch. If you've seen it, mention in the comments. That'd be nice. You want to talk about Triangle of Sadness quickly?
I'm down.
What were your thoughts?
I really liked it. I think it was a very good movie.
Sure.
I loved the comedy. It was great. I laughed out loud multiple moments. I loved the dark comedy, especially. It was very good. It was broken into 3 parts. My favorite was the second. I think a lot might agree on that.
Yeah.
I think it stands out as the best. Third had the most issues in my opinion. The third part, and it was probably one of the slowest. That's where the movie kind of dropped down in my opinion. It's my highest 4 of the year, so it's sort of bordering a 9, and that third part kind of brought it down from a 9 to a 8 for me. But it still is great. Ending is great. I think how it's open to interpretation.
Sure.
What did you think?
Yeah, I really liked the film. I thought it was pretty much always an 8 for me, just because I felt it had some pacing issues, specifically per scene. It wasn't an overall thing, but there were some scenes that it just felt like director Ruben Östlund just really wanted to hold on to for some reason, and I thought a lot of the time maybe it was a little long. I thought the comedy was funny as well. I didn't have many laugh out loud moments, I would say, but a lot that I appreciated. I think it's pretty smart. I think it can be on the nose for sure, but I do like what it's tackling. And then I do agree with you that the third act, if it were just a little bit shorter, I think you've got quite the piece here, because I think you absolutely need the third act. I think you'd agree, because it completely is part of the theme that the story is trying to explore, and it completely takes that story in that different direction. But it is just a little too long, and unnecessarily so, unnecessarily long. But I thought the film overall was very strong. Even the third act, which I do agree is probably the weakest just because of its pacing, was still pretty good. You don't get that kind of content in a film. Content that good. But yeah, it is split up distinctly into 3 sections, each of which is good. Overall, enjoyed the film. I said it last week. What did your friends think?
They both enjoyed it.
Okay.
Kaliko gave it a 9, and I don't know what Alina gave it, but I think she really liked it too.
That shocks me a little bit. Elon was in the chat a bit ago. Again, I don't know where he's gone.
Why?
But he said somebody said that Triangle of Sadness was overrated, so I'd love to hear maybe a little more on, or mid, I think he
Pretty
said.
sure he said mid.
Yeah. I'd love to hear specifically the complaints that person had. But we have 1 viewer watching right now, so I don't know that is likely. The things we do for the channel. Right? Anyway, so if you are watching the video, I would love some chat engagement, please. Yeah, that'd be nice. Let's talk Armageddon Time. This is a film you did see.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
What did you think?
I think it was a good movie. Um, I was looking forward to this one for a while now because I thought the trailer looked good to me, and I love Anthony Hopkins. He's incredible, and he was one of the best parts of the movie in my opinion. He's so good. I think it tackles an important theme and message and issue, and the story is good. I had some problems. One being acting. I don't know if anyone agrees with this or not. I don't know, but the main kid, there were some parts I didn't quite like the acting. It wasn't the whole time. It was just some moments, and he's the main character, so it kind of makes it a bit worse.
Yeah.
And then what else was there? You watched this one today, right?
No, I saw this yesterday, Saturday.
Oh.
I saw Banshees today. Alina's in the chat. Thank you, Alina. She says Armageddon Time was so good. Glad to see some enthusiasm for film, but I'm gonna have to disagree. I did end up giving it a negative rating, maybe a little harsh, but even if I gave it a positive rating, it wouldn't be too positive. And here's the reason. The Good Nurse on Netflix saw it and liked it a lot. True story and great acting, Angela says. Yeah, we talked about it last week. For anybody who wants to see our opinion on The Good Nurse, we covered it last week. Angela, my mother, appeared to like it, which is good. It is a true story. There is some good acting in there. I thought it was a little mundane. I think Ryan agreed. It was just a little standard. But anyway, if you're curious about our thoughts on The Good Nurse, go to last week's episode, Cinema Conversations. Number 4, as for Armageddon Time. Ryan, I'm actually going to push back on you a little with the theme and say that this film felt like it was, obviously there is one central thing that I explore a little too much, and yet it didn't have a whole lot to say. What it did have to say is nothing particularly new. I don't think it added too much of importance necessarily, and I thought it did not go far enough. It did not go far enough in any sort of theme or message, and a lot of specifically what the film tries to do, a lot, is put the situation where we have this boy, I forgot his name, and his friend, his black friend from school. And they both do something that's mischievous, and the main character does not get in that much trouble, whereas his black friend does. And this happens repeatedly, and besides being just obvious at a certain point, it's like, okay, what is the message here? Is the message that, what are we doing that isn't, what are we doing that is unique to this film? What are we doing that isn't explored elsewhere, that needs to come to the forefront? Because honestly, I thought the black character, again, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name, a lot of the characters' names, was very one note. Didn't have a whole lot to say about him. I thought the performance was excellent, and I'm actually going to disagree with you about the main child actor's performance because I thought he was good. Banks Rapita is his name. So I thought the child actor performances were good. Did it have too much to say? I thought the message was a little muddled. And actually, my main complaint about the film would be that it was strung together poorly, I thought. And I mean that in 2 ways. First, the editing. I thought the film itself was cut together very oddly. I thought things were, transitioned in between super weirdly. And I guess this is a script problem as well, which is the other way I mean it, in that certain scenes would follow other scenes that just felt completely out of place. And I feel like the film was trying to juggle a lot. It was trying to explore quite a bit. Paul and Johnny, Alina says, thank you. I was going to say Johnny, but I hesitated because I wasn't sure. And so I feel like the film is trying to explore a lot, and it doesn't necessarily succeed in trying to get across each of the things it wants to impart on the audience. So overall, I thought it was a little clumsy, a little messy. Again, how much does it have to say? Another thing there is the color palette. I don't know if you noticed this. Very dark film. So there's not much hope here. You know, it seems to be just a very dark and dramatic film. And when you try, look, maybe I just didn't understand what director James Gray was trying to go for here, but to me it seemed like just a film that I don't really know what it was going for. At the end of the day, it feels like it was trying to go for a lot and didn't really succeed at any of it, at least in my case. I don't think it will be a very impactful film. So I think, what is the film trying to go for at the end of the day? And I think when that's not clear in a film like this, that is, a biopic, at least based on the director's life, exploring themes like this, you got a bit of a problem on your hands. What do you have to say to that?
Interesting. I think the color palette being darker is because of the director's name, James Gray.
That's an excellent interpretation.
Thank you. And I disagree with some of the things you said. I didn't notice any. Sometimes I noticed.
You're cutting out a little bit, Ryan. And you're gone.
How the script was put
Ryan,
together.
You're back. You cut out a little bit. You're gonna have to repeat that.
Oh, okay. What you said about the scenes following other scenes not really fitting in, I noticed some of that, but not too much, and that was a script issue, but it wasn't that big of a deal to me. It does have a lot on its plate with all the messages and themes, but I think it does rather well of promoting them. Like you said, it doesn't tackle them well. I disagree. I know it won't be a big impactful film, as you said. Like, it's not gonna be that, but I think it will. A good amount of people will watch it. There were quite a bit of people in the theater when I went, and other movies I don't really see many people, so I was glad to see a big group going. And
if I think people will enjoy it. I want to touch on this because one of the things I think is most important when you're discussing this film is the message. And I don't mean to plagiarize from my grandfather, who I saw the film with, but he actually had a really good piece of criticism, which I'm going to take. He said the film was shallow. The message was shallow. And he got the first word on the film. I hadn't given my thoughts yet, but he said that, and it summed up pretty much everything I had to say about the film. Because I left it, and I'm like, it didn't strike me. Why is that? And I think it's because it's rather shallow. Now, if we're looking at just as an exploration of James Gray as a young child, I think it does a relatively good job. I think the familial drama here, which, by the way, again, are we exploring the issue of race? Are we exploring a family drama about a complex family and about this child who's struggling? And it's just juggling so much. And I don't know that it nails any of the things it's trying to talk about. I will say briefly, I know I'm jumping all over the place, and I think you'll agree, family was excellent. The family. A little biased, but I absolutely love Jeremy Strong because I've loved Succession, so I thought he was brilliant as the dad, Irving. And then I like the Jewish representation as well, I will say. I did mention that last week. Anne Hathaway, brilliant as the mom. Anthony Hopkins was the standout here. I think everybody will agree. He's just the heart of the film. He really is. They say it in the movie. He's the heart of their family. And I think they do a good job of recreating that for the film itself. So any scene with Anthony Hopkins, he's just carrying that one. So I'm curious, Ryan, what do you think was, the message of the film? What is it trying to get the audience to do, to learn? What is it trying to impart on the audience?
It's pretty simple. Just everyone is equal. We can't discriminate against others based on certain things such as race and religion, because there's how Banks repeat his character.
Paul.
Is it Paul? Is he Paul?
Yeah.
Paul is going through all this stuff in this time with racism and African American.
Repeat that. We lost
Hello?
you. Yeah, we lost you.
All right.
Ryan, are you there? He's not there. Ryan, you're going to have to repeat that.
Okay. Paul is having to deal with these issues with his friend, and all these injustices against him from the teacher and other boys, and having to hear things from people such as his family even. Uh, and Johnny's already going through so much with his living situation, and it just, you really see what it's like for him and what it feels like to be in his shoes. And I think a big moment in the film is when Paul has this conversation with it's in the trailer, with Anthony Hopkins' character, and he tells him what's going on, and he says the boys are doing this, and Anthony Hopkins gives him a great message: stand up for him. Like, we had to move here, we were Jewish, and they were trying to kill us. We can't let other people be discriminated against, because all these different, like, that could be us. Even not if it's us, it's happening to other people. We have to stand up for them and help others. I think that's the biggest message of the film.
Sure. Yeah, I guess. I think it explores a lot, so I would say that is certainly one of the messages of the film. And how well it comes across, I guess, is up for debate. Again, personally, I thought it was a little bit shallow, to put it in the same words I did before. And then there's also, of course, the scene where the Trumps, Marianne Trump, gives a speech to the audience, and it's this whole dog-eat-dog thing. You have to succeed in this world. You are going to succeed because you did it by hard work. And then there's, of course, the dramatic irony there that they didn't do it through their hard work. They were given a leg up, whereas all these people in society are not given the same advantage and yet are chastised when they do not succeed. Still a lot to process about the film. Didn't hate it, just didn't like it that much. I actually thought a lot about Belfast when watching this film. And I guess this is sort of a new trend. A lot of directors recreating childhood memories. So I think that's partially why, because again, it's from the perspective of a child and his family. He has this grandfather that he admires and respects and all that. And he's in the middle of turmoil in his society. I thought Belfast was better. Not by much, but I certainly liked it more. What do you think about the Belfast comparison?
I would agree, except I think it's better.
Oh. Yeah, I disagree. I just thought it was a lot messier. Belfast was a lot more concise, especially, I think, spent more time in the editing room, if I had to guess. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Armageddon Time. Anything else, or do you want to move on?
No.
Okay. Did you happen to catch Weird the Al Yankovic story?
No. Not Roku.
Yeah, but there are other methods, aren't there? Well then, I'm not going to repeat myself. I already put it all in a review, so if you want my thoughts on Weird the Al Yankovic story, you can check that out, and hopefully...
I do want to watch it, though. I've heard a lot of people saying it's very different than the stereotypical, or I don't know about stereotypical, but just the format that most Hollywood movies are made. And I heard Daniel Radcliffe is great, and I grew up listening to Weird Al Yankovic songs, a lot of them, so I do really want to watch it.
Really want to. That's certainly a way to put it, because I think you could have. But I am one of those people saying that, and you can check my review if you want more info, and the conversation around it will have to wait. Alina's is much better than Belfast for sure. Of course, I'm aware of Alina's thoughts on Belfast, which she's wrong about, unfortunately. She hates black and white films. She is prejudiced. Didn't you learn anything from Armageddon Time? You've got to get along with the different color of films. So, Belfast is better. You didn't like that joke? I don't know. I wasn't sure how to phrase it. I am going to go on a limb here and guess that you have not seen Causeway.
I saw the first 30 seconds.
I don't even know why you would bother to watch just the first 30 seconds because there's a whole 90 minutes after that. Again, not going to repeat myself. Review on the channel. The conversation will have to wait. We're just breezing through this episode. We got some TV to discuss. Ryan, you want to start us off on Andor episode 9?
Andor. Great. These past 3 episodes are so good. I love Andor. All Star Wars fans should watch it. Non-Star Wars fans should watch it. This, I know what you said about the 3-episode arc thing, and last time I said I don't know if this one, like I didn't really feel it was building up quick enough for the 9th episode to be a thing, and I think I was correct. There was no big moment in this episode, such as the 6th and the 3rd. So I think that's coming very soon, though. You really see all these different aspects in Andor, from Andor, and from the ISB supervisor character. You see all these different, and the Changeling lady who is in the Senate or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know who I'm talking about?
Changeling.
Yeah. So you see, that's her race.
Is it?
I think
that's Mon Mothma. You don't know Mon Mothma? She's in the original.
Mon Mothma. I forgot her name. My bad. So I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen because something big is coming, and Andy's. Oh, I don't know what I'm allowed to say.
No, you can say that at this point. I think that's.
I can say that. Yeah. Andy Serkis is in this episode a lot more, and he's great.
Brilliant.
And so is Cassian Andor character. I forgot his name too, but he's also Diego Luna. He's great throughout the whole show. I want to see him in a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal episode. You're absolutely right that this was not, a conclusion to a 3-episode arc. And I'm glad that you're right, because watching this episode, it definitely seems that if they had rushed it, it wouldn't have worked as well. So while the show, especially in the first 2 episodes, I would say, a little too slow for my liking, but the show excels in general at telling this story at a slower rate. And there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, some stories demand a slower pacing because that's how they need to be told. And I think Andor is one of those shows, and so I'm glad they took their time a little bit. And I think this episode is phenomenal. The tension is still there. There's a lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue that it explores. The critique is as sharp as ever. And then by the end of this episode, you're just on the edge of your seat waiting for next week's. So very excited for that. Ryan nailed just about everything I could say. One little thing, and I hate to sound like a nitpicker here because I absolutely love this show. Diego Luna, brilliant actor. I love him in a lot of stuff. It's odd that you say like more stuff. I guess I agree, of course, but he has been around for a while. He's been around for like 2 decades at this point. And this isn't his fault because I do think he's a fantastic actor and he could do a lot. I think he has a good range that we just haven't fully seen yet. I think he's a little one note in this show. I don't think he gets an opportunity to do a ton of stuff. And I don't know that I would have written him differently because I do think this is the character that the show wants to explore. But at the same time, how much am I going to praise his performance? Moderately, just because I'm not blown away by it. Andy Serkis, on the other hand, as a supporting character, given a ton to do. He has multiple scenes where he freaks out. You get, and he goes on his own little arc. Like Andor will have 2 seasons to get on this arc. Andy Serkis' character is on this arc for like 4 or 5 episodes. Actually, funnily enough, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or if you saw this. Some guy, they're really starting to bother me, these people on Twitter. I think everybody should watch the show. I think it's brilliant. But so many people on that damn app are talking about this show like it's The Sopranos. It's ridiculous. I saw somebody say Andy Serkis' character had the best arc of all time. The best character arc of all time. What do you even say to that? That is the most nonsensical thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's been 3 episodes.
It's like maybe the best arc in the show, I guess, if you want to go there. All time? I don't even know what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
I think
it's clearly like
multiple regular show characters have better arcs.
That's certainly an interesting place to go. I mean, I'd agree with you for God's sakes, but yikes. Look, it's a great show. It's a great show. Just temper your expectations because people are talking about it like it's the greatest thing of all time. But it is very good, and I would absolutely recommend it, which I feel like I'm saying every week. So hopefully someday it gets its due. Anything else you want to add?
The ending was very good. I don't know if you remember the exact ending. Do you?
The episode, of course.
Yeah. Like, even, like, down to the last word said.
Of course. How could you forget?
Sets up. Yep.
Next
the 10th. I'm so hyped. I think this is going to be the big...
the conclusion thing? For the arc?
Yeah, the arc, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Doesn't look like you're with me.
I know, I'm sorry. I wanted to look up something because there was some news that I wanted to cover, and I wanted to make sure I get it right. Because we're almost on the news section, but a little more to cover first. But I am with you. There's no action in the chat. This is a very depressing episode. I'm a little low on energy because I'm very fed up with this streaming software. So, sorry about that, folks. Let's talk some music, Ryan. We got 2 pieces of music I want to just cover briefly because I didn't listen to either fully. I don't think you listened to either fully, so we'll just talk about it a little. The first is the big news of the week, Her Loss. The collab album between Drake and 21 Savage. We've talked about it for 2 weeks now because it got delayed. It wasn't worth the hype, in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
Her Loss is everyone's loss who listens to it.
It's good.
It is an L. Drake, his past 3 albums, bro, I am not. His old music, Drake is incredible, right? He has a lot of bangers, classics, incredible songs, but I'm really not liking Drake at the moment. Sorry to all the diehard Drake fans. I have a friend who's a diehard Drake fan who still even loves these albums, but these past 3 albums have not.
Pray for him.
Have not been
good. Just say it. Not been good.
Yeah, look, not been good.
I got like 6 songs, maybe more, into Her Loss, and it just wasn't worth my time. If you like this music, fine. You know, that's fine. If you like, look, it's just very standard. I certainly would not have given it a positive rating. I do think, for the record, not that this is a high bar, that what I heard was better than both CLB and, honestly, Nevermind, both of Drake's last 2 albums. But the production, first of all, on these 2, it's just so generic. You can hear this thing with literally any other rapper on the radio. This is radio rap that we're listening to. These 2 are not lyrical geniuses by any means. They never have been. But it seems like they just did not try. The bars are lazy.
Yeah.
They're barely, it's not even like club music, barely. I'd rather turn on just about any other song for club music. Like, I guess that's what they were going for, something that you can, like, just jump up and down, do mosh to, maybe. But it's just maybe. Certainly CLB and honestly Nevermind were not that. Alina says, I couldn't listen to the full thing because it was kind of boring. I'm with you. It just was not worth my time. She says, CLB was great. Ryan, you're aware you don't have to type in the chat because you're, like, on the stream. And you can communicate with people. But, no, it's just, I wasn't sure if you were aware that you were on the stream. Alina says she's the friend.
She is not the friend.
Yeah, I didn't think so. And CLB was great.
It's Kaliko.
It's just a god-awful album.
It's not great.
There's nothing of virtue.
Like, really. 2 songs, maybe.
Not even in my opinion.
Which album was Jimmy Cooks off of?
That was honestly Nevermind.
Alright, well, that's like
this year. And even that song is mid, but it is the best on that album.
Yeah.
So yeah, Drake, look, you said it a little bit, you touched on it. Good artist, a lot of classics in his old days. It's really fallen off for me. I think because he makes a ton of money, obviously, I don't think he cares that much.
Bro.
And he obviously doesn't care what you and I have to say, but I'm going to mention
Did you see the streaming? Her Loss broke, like, streaming records.
Jesus, I did not.
It's ridiculous. He is making so much money off of this dog shit that he's pumping out. Yeah. He needs to take his time. Be like Kendrick Lamar or something, bro.
I'm with you.
Take your time.
Well, not at
Pump
well.
out
Hang
good
on. Let's
music.
relax. I don't know that everybody can be Kendrick Lamar. We're talking
All right. Well,
greatest of
I'm
all
just saying.
time in Kendrick
Don't
Lamar.
pump out dog shit
I'm with
like
you. It's clearly
NBA
lazy.
young boy.
Yeah, it's clearly lazy. Clearly, they didn't spend any time on it. It's clear. You can when you see something that just has a lack of effort. It's obvious, right? Like they just pump this out to get the cheapest thing possible. They'll probably go on tour and make millions off of this garbage.
I feel like it's kind of. I feel like it's kind of ruining, or will ruin in the future, how people look at him and see him when they add these albums to his collection, and
I
they
think
think
his
about
legacy
like,
is already getting tainted big time. Like
yeah,
obviously he's kind of a meme a little bit, but he's not helping anything when he makes music like this, right? It's just so bland.
he's helping himself.
Sure.
The money.
Sure. But if you stop him at like Scorpion maybe, where he's got God's Plan, he's got In My Feelings.
Like Scorpion.
I like Scorpion too. I think, obviously a little generic. You've got a ton of pop stuff there, but it does feel like it has effort. It felt like at least he was trying, in my opinion. Maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia on my part. That's possible. But this kind of new stuff is just not doing it for me. And I'm very much not a fan. So I'm unfortunately not optimistic that he'll return to his old ways. But it's possible, and I hope maybe he does it. Taylor Swift announced a new tour. I'm sure you plan to cover it, but anyone going to a show? Yeah, I saw she announced a new tour. Ryan is extremely excited. Yeah, she has a new album in general. We didn't cover it on the show, unfortunately, because I don't think the Taylor Swift audience intersects with mine. But if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments, and I'll listen for you. I will do it for the viewers who are currently not present in the chat, because we've had a total of 2 people, 3 if you count Ryan himself, in the chat today. So that's always really exciting, guys. Thanks for the support. Black Panther album came out because I'm. Really
I wanted to say one more thing.
We're gonna. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
About her loss, it's okay. You said that they're not really lyrical geniuses, but sorry to break it to you, Drake does not write his own lyrics. Right. So.
Well, I did say they're not lyrical geniuses, so I think I was correct.
Okay.
21 Savage actually is definitely a lyrical genius. You got it.
I like 21 Savage a lot. I
like them both.
Songs.
They're pretty even in my book. I think peak Drake is better than peak 21 Savage for sure.
Yeah.
But I thought both missed the mark. Both missed the mark. It sounds like they just saw each other at a party or something. They were both high or drunk out of their minds. And they're like, yo, we should do an album together. They went into the studio the next day, hungover, recorded for 50 minutes. Like they just did, everything was the first take. And then they shipped it off and packaged it and all that good stuff. Yeah. I actually bet my conspiracy theory is that it got delayed because they didn't even do the album. They definitely did it they did it like Thursday night and just got ready. They were doing it live. That was a good pun.
My theory, you remember when 21 Savage commented cap on the rap post about the album?
Right. Yeah, Drake was just saying stuff.
No, I think Drake was saying stuff, and then he reached out to 21. Right. 21 didn't even know anything about it.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
Then they made it in that short time.
I think that's a guarantee. I think the minute it popped up on streaming services is the minute it finished. I think
the photo of the album cover, I don't know what that is, to be honest.
I actually do. I heard a report. It was actually it was an accident. They were just messing around on the computer and they accidentally put some random JPEG and they just were like, we'll keep it. We like this.
That's a little funny. The whole album is an accident, so.
No, it is. Yeah, I don't think they meant.
I feel like maybe some of the songs they added were accidents and they weren't supposed to put those out.
I think probably Drake's entire career for the past 2-3 years has been an accident, but
yeah. But whoever that is, I don't know the deal with that. Maybe they could. I don't know who that is.
No, me neither.
It's a little funny.
It actually, I saw that was the picture, and I'm like, well, that lowers my expectations. Because again, what is that supposed to, Oh, now the screen's just frozen on her photo, Ryan. Thanks for that. All right, we've been talking about this god-awful album way too long. Jesus Christ. Let's talk about the Black Panther album, which dropped. I have almost nothing to say because I really didn't listen to any songs, I'm sorry to say. But Yeah, I don't even know why I wrote it down because I didn't listen to anything except for obviously the Rihanna song a few weeks back. But I just wanted to announce that it was out there. Ryan, did you listen to it at all?
I did not listen to it. I did not know it came out until today, to be honest. But the first Black Panther album is incredible. I do not think this one will be as good, but hopefully it is good.
Yeah, there's no Kendrick on it, so obviously already it's a massive, not as good. I will say in general, not that this is a bad thing, but there are almost no well-known artists on it. I did see Future, I think, is on it, but almost no well-known artists. A lot of them are Hispanic, actually, which I like because I think, again, the film is going to explore.
That adds,
Hispanic,
the more,
right,
and the actor
perspective. So I am glad that is being incorporated into the album. And if the songs are good in the film, then, might be encouraged to listen to the album outside of the film. We'll talk about the film in a bit, by the way, which comes out next week.
It doesn't need to have a lot of well-known artists. The last one had a lot of artists that are less known. I think that's good. It can put them into a bigger light.
I'm with you.
The more
but
public,
I also think
help them out.
The last album had a way more well-known people than this one, just for the record.
It did, yeah.
Future.
I noticed.
Travis, if I remember, was even on the last one.
Yeah.
Kendrick, obviously.
Travis. SZA.
Right. All the stars. The Weeknd was on the last one, so
The Weeknd.
Way more stars on the original. So
SOBRBE.
Right. And then just one trailer to talk about this week, which would be the second trailer for Avatar 2. What are your thoughts?
You should start.
Are you talking about Triangle of Sadness on this one? We talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but no, I covered most of my thoughts last week, and then I also have a review about it. But we did talk about it earlier this episode a little bit, specifically what Ryan had to say since he saw it this week. Avatar 2, look, it's the same problem. Visual effects, stunning. I can tell off the trailer alone how beautiful they are. And I actually saw it this week. And, it just makes me so sad every time I think about it. I saw behind the scenes. I looked up a behind the scenes video for the original Avatar. And it's just such good filmmaking. It's impossible not to love. It's brilliant stuff. I heard crazy stuff for this film. Like James Cameron built I don't want to get the number wrong, but an insane amount of gallon tank for Avatar 2. They built an actual underwater tank to film it, to make it authentic. That kind of stuff you have to admire. But if the film's story is bland, and this one looks bland, it looks like they're doing maybe a little bit of a Romeo-Juliet plotline, a little bit of war between nations kind of vibe going on, I am not digging it. I expect the visual effects to be impeccable, best of all time worthy for God's sakes, because what else are we doing here? It's been in the making for a decade since the original. But if the story's not good, what does it matter in the end? Thoughts?
Well, I did not see the trailer, but I don't even think I really need to. I can definitely assume that it's pretty similar to the first one, and its strong point is probably the visual effects, and there's not too much else there. But I don't know. I haven't seen it. But I do think this new Avatar is going to be a good amount of world building, new things, new... I don't know what exactly they're going to add, but they're going to need to add some more stuff. New enemies, new allies for this second one, third, fourth, and fifth. So I think I don't know what exactly, but that'll be. It has potential.
Yeah.
If the cards are played right.
I'm not optimistic.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you should watch the trailer though, because it is short, and am I back? Ryan, you there? Ryan, you there? Ryan's not there, folks. Ryan's in the chat. Ryan, tell me if you're on the collab cam still. Are you on the collab cam? Same thing happened again. I don't know what to do. I'm so exhausted, and nobody's even here. Alright, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Ryan, try please to try and get back on, but I'm going to wrap up this show. I'm going to run through the news, speed run. Unfortunately, this is not so much a cinema conversation, but pretty one-sided. Sorry, Ryan. Please try and get back, and then we'll discuss some more stuff. But for now, here we go. First piece of news, and then just talk in the chat, I guess, since you're there. Kristen Milioti from Palm Springs is how I know her. Here, I'm going to try and get... Okay. Palm Springs actress across Andy Samberg is starring as Sophia Falcone, Carmine Falcone's daughter, in The Penguin Show, coming to HBO Max. The Fall Guy, which was a movie we talked about last week from David Leitch, is also adding Winston Duke and Stephanie Sue to its cast. Stephanie Sue, obviously, from Everything Everywhere All at Once earlier this year. Lupita Nyong'o, phenomenal actress, is in A Quiet Place Day One, the prequel. Yahya Abdul-Mateen is, I think, speculated, but I think it was probably confirmed, actually, as Wonder Man in his own MCU series, which Bob Odenkirk, the GOAT, is also rumored to be starring in. Aubrey Plaza, who is most recently off of The White Lotus, which I have not seen, but if you have seen, let me know what you thought about that in the chat, is starring in Agatha Coven of Chaos, Agatha show. And some more Coven of Chaos news. We learned that it will be 9 episodes. Don't Worry, Darling drops on HBO Max today, actually, November 6th. Watch it if you want, don't if you don't want to. The Gentleman, the Guy Ritchie film. Sorry, Ryan, okay. I just have to be in the chat. And I'll save the discussions, I guess, for next week. That sucks, man. I had some good stuff I wanted to talk about. Okay. The Gentleman, the Guy Ritchie film from 2019, is getting a Netflix series starring Theo James in the lead, again from The White Lotus. And Giancarlo Esposito, the Better Call Saul Breaking Bad cast, is winning. And I love that guy, so any job he can get, I will take. Westworld, massive news, but I'm going to talk about it briefly because this show is over, for God's sakes. It's a sinking ship. Westworld, after 4 seasons, was canceled by HBO. It was going into its final season, and they chopped the head off. Crystal Lake, Friday the 13th prequel series, is coming to Peacock, produced by A24. You never would have guessed that because it makes no sense. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, you may have heard about this one. It's a horror Winnie the Pooh film, dropping February 15th. I think a one day only. I think it's a special event type deal. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the Hunger Games prequel, has wrapped filming. Ballerina, the John Wick prequel, I think it's a prequel, it might just be a spinoff, starring Ana de Armas, is currently filming. Andor Season 2 starts filming November 21st, so very soon. And The Last of Us, phenomenal show that I'm very excited for. I don't know why I said phenomenal show, phenomenal games that I'm very excited for. The series drops January 15th. It will be 9 episodes. And then going forward, we have a Regal Mystery movie on November 7th. I don't know what it is, but I will report back next week if there is a show next week because I'm getting very fed up with this nonsense. The Crown Season 5 drops November 9th on Netflix. Heard not so many great things, unfortunately. A little bit mid reviews. I will make up my mind for myself. Obviously, it's one of my favorite shows of all time. It's in my top 10. Brilliant show. So I will, of course, let you guys know my thoughts on that. God of War Ragnarok, one of the most anticipated games of the year, following the hit original in 2018, is dropping on November 9th. We'll be playing that. Not the biggest fan of the original. I know Ryan was, who is unfortunately not here to tell you how much he liked it, and this would be a fun section where we would debate that, but it will have to wait. Drops November 9th, same day as The Crown. I'm going to have to pick and choose my priorities. Then, of course, you have the MCU with Black Panther Wakanda Forever next Friday. No other films coming out next week because who would dare compete with Black Panther? Hoping it's good. Looks good to me. We'll see how it is. Folks, I have been EDPC Reviews. He has been Ryan Dubofsky. He is no longer with us. This has been a shit show. I'm rolling the outro. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.